You're listening to Her Table with Alexis and Malia, where we explore what walking with Jesus looks like in real life. No filter, no pressure, where God meets us at the table, and there's always room for you.
Hey! Happy Tuesday. Ooh. So we're filming in my dining room today. And
yeah, it's her little nook.
I don't know what the cars. I live on a busy street. I don't know if we're going to be able to
see on the highway.
I'm dead. So
this is literally a highway.
And I live next to the train. So I don't know what this is going to sound like. So we're just going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. And we'll shut the windows next time.
Yes.
But it's been raining out. I like to have the windows open. It's noise. It's real noise. Okay, so last week we did a little Dear Grace, and then so it's my topic Tuesday, and I didn't do anything super crazy this week. We don't have any like conspiracy theories or anything like that. This is simply just going to be telling a story. I was like, what's a story that I like feel like I don't know too much about? And then I don't know, I've only heard it a few times, and I've heard the phrase fourth man in the fire in a few songs, and I was like, what does that mean really? So I decided to dive a little deep. I literally live on the highway.
I'm just saying.
So today I'm going to be talking about, we're going to dive into one of the most cinematic, intense, deeply misunderstood stories in the Bible. And also forgive me, when I transferred my notes over from my phone into my laptop, they formatted weird. So I tried to like separate everything so I can read it because I'm a little dyslexic, but we're going to get through this. So we're going to be talking about the fiery furnace, which you can find in Daniel chapter 3. We might have to shut the window just a
little birdies.
Just a little bit. Hold on. Okay. You can put that. Yeah, you can just put it. Yeah. My little plant. So most of us have grown up hearing this story in like Sunday school, or like, as we like to call it, adult Sunday school. So we know that, I'm gonna mess these up. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yeah, I got the last one down. I like wrote down the little pronunciations. So to preface, so we have King Nebuchadnezzar, which, let me tell you something. And I looked at this name at first before listening to a sermon or like listening to how it was said. I was like,
I was gonna say you aced that one.
Nebuchadnezzar. So he basically created this 90-foot golden.
I just need to put a little bit. Sorry.
This 90-foot golden statue, and like for like this commemoration that they were gonna have to present it, kind of like how you'd like open like the Olympic Games, like the song. He said when the music plays, every single one of you are gonna bow down to this statue because it's a statue to commemorate me.
What was it with these people back in the day and these golden idols? Not to get too crazy, but Moses and his brother Aaron, he went up to go talk to God. When he came down, they were doing the same thing, dancing around this golden calf.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know what was in the water back then,
but
they was on their golden statue era.
Yeah, so basically, they didn't bow down. And I'm gonna go into this, but I'm gonna give you a little preface first. So they didn't, so these three fellas, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Click it. I was dead. Oh my God, you weren't there on Sunday. Pastor did this. And if you can't see him,
doing this too.
It's a little finger pinky little thing.
Clock it.
Yeah, clock it. So they didn't bow down, and they got thrown into a furnace. And I won't ruin the end, but Before we look at the fire itself, we have to understand the heat before the fire. So King Nebuchadnezzar builds this massive golden statue, 90 feet high, 90 feet wide, and sets it up on the plain of Dura. He basically says when the music plays, everyone drops to their knees, and if you don't, you're going to go into a blazing furnace. Now, I'm not going to lie, I feel like you know who with the square facial hair maybe got his idea from this.
Okay.
Because that's immediately what I thought of when, and I wasn't going to go down that rabbit hole with this whole thing, but that's immediately what I thought of when reading this. I was like, that sounds awfully familiar. So, yeah, you're going to go in the furnace. So think about physiological pressure here. This wasn't just a religious rule, it was a loyalty test. And the text tells us that every nation, language, and people fell down and worshiped. Everyone did it. It was culturally acceptable and a safe thing to do. And that's where this story hits home for us today. We might not have a physical 90-foot gold statue in our town squares, but our culture is constantly playing a song and demanding that we bow. Bow to your convictions, bow to your integrity, conform to the standard of the world just to fit or keep your job. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are standing there completely alone, refusing to bend. So to truly appreciate the climax, and you can find this in Daniel 3:19 through 29. To understand these verses, we have to look at how these three young men responded right before the furnace gets lit. The king confronts them, gives them one last chance, and says, "What God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" And listen to how they answer. So in Daniel 3:16 through 18, this is the foundation of their faith. They say, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of the gold you have set up." Let that sink in.
What was the chapter?
So it's Daniel 3:19 through 29, but I just read 3:16 through 18. And let the phrase sink in, but even if he does not.
Okay.
This is the deeper meaning that we often skip over. Their faith was not a transaction. Who said this? Pastor said like faith is not transactional or something like that. They didn't tell the king, "Our God is going to save us, so watch out." They said, "Our God can save us, but even if he chooses not to, he's still our God and we still won't bow."
Okay.
Like, that's faith. That's true faith. And how often is faith, like, on God delivering us from the trouble? We say, "God, I'll trust you if you heal the sickness, if you fix my finances, if you save this relationship." And these three men had an even if kind of faith, but they trusted God's character more than they valued their own survival. Listen, I can't say that if there was a blazing furnace in front of me, I would be like, that's a hard decision to make. And like, that's a hard thing to come to terms with, but we also live in a world that's much different than the world they were brought up into. I'm getting there, though, one day. My dad's like, "I'm okay with dying because I know where I'm going." I said, "I'm not there yet."
Right.
I love God, I trust God, and I want to go to the land of milk and honey. But is it not milk and honey? No.
It is.
It is? Okay.
But I knew that butt was coming.
But that's terrifying.
Right.
And I think it's the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So then King Nebuchadnezzar was absolutely furious with these men. And his attitude toward... let me preface with... The king's attitude first was more like a fatherly finger, like, "Hey guys, like, you should bow down to me because, like, this is what we're gonna do. Like, I'm giving you one last chance." Like a dad, like, scolding his son. But then all of a sudden, when they were like, "No," And even if we do die, no. Then all of a sudden his demeanor is completely changed. And he was furious with these 3 men, and his attitude completely changed. And he ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual and commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up the 3 boys and throw them into the blazing furnace. So I was listening to a sermon of this story kind of being told, and forgive me, I don't know the pastor's name, I should have wrote it down. But he was like, it's kind of crazy to me that he would heat it up 7 times. He goes, because then they're just going to walk in and they're going to burn. They're not even going to get tortured. They're just going to die. Mm. He's like, so like, what are you really gaining from that aside from them just dying? Like, they're not, So these men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and their clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. The king's command was so urgent, and the furnace was so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took the men into the furnace, firmly tied, and then they fell into the furnace.
Okay.
The flames were so hot that the soldiers who brought them in instantly died. And these 3 men then fell in. Notice what happens when you stand up for what is right. The world does not back down. It gets angrier. Nebuchadnezzar's orders of the furnace heated 7 times hotter. Theologically, the number 7 represents completeness or perfection. This means that the furnace was pushed to its absolute physical limit and was so hot that the heat alone killed the executioners. That's crazy. So, have you ever felt like your situation went from bad to 7 times hotter? And you made the right choice and you stood your ground, but instead of things getting better, the heat turned up. Look at how they entered the fire. They were bound, they're tied up, completely helpless, unable to save themselves, and they fall flat into the flames. That is so true. There are so many situations, so many storms, so many situations that we are put in where we're like, I'm going to stand on all 10 toes because you think that that's going to get you somewhere. And that is not always the case. Can you think of a time that you've been in a situation where your flames got 7 times hotter? Because I always tell people right after they get baptized, your flames become 7 times hotter. Because everyone's going to and also what this guy was saying in his sermon was you're the Christian guy now. Oh, you're the godly guy now. It's like, yup. Yes, I am.
My sister, so we just went on vacation to Pennsylvania. And we were going down, and we were talking about, it's Pride Month and this and that. And we were talking, and she's like, Alexa, she's like, you should just be so pumped and amped and so, all about X, Y, and Z. And I said, yeah, but it no longer aligns with
hence you said used to be.
With my beliefs and the things that I believe in. I said, but no way in no shape am I putting down or, judging, exactly, or condemning anybody. Yeah. I love everybody. I'm just not going to support in a certain way. And
I didn't do sound check, but keep going.
I said, but this is something I'm willing to a hill I'm willing to die on.
Yeah. Oh.
I said, I'm willing to lose friends over. It's okay if we don't agree. Yeah. You don't have to be disrespectful.
Right.
But if you want to walk away, and that could be hurtful, and you could be losing some very important people or not be invited to some very important,
It's crazy you say that because you're like, I'm okay with this thing not aligning with me, though I'm not going to judge you. And this goes for both this situation and I feel like Christianity, where you're like, that's okay that you don't believe. I'm still going to spread the word of God. That's okay that you don't want to believe. And you're okay with that. But for some reason, the other party is termination.
They're angry.
Angry. They want to fight
This is like the three men in King Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
They were like, you want to build your statue? You go right ahead.
Right. Do what
Everybody
you
else
do.
wants to bow down. You go right ahead.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And like you said, now he's irate.
He was calm before, yeah.
Right. He, like you said, he's terminating. He is cutting off literally
their life.
Right. And so I think a lot of us deal with these types of situations and don't realize that this is one of those stories that applies to our life today.
Yeah.
When people are like, well, why do you believe the Bible? Look at this story. 3 men. We'll say 4. We'll say 5. Because, 4. The king plus, this group of men, 2,000 years ago, their story still affects us today.
People's perspectives still haven't changed. People's mindsets, people's ways still haven't changed. And like I said, it's just crazy that like people like to point like, and I'm not saying that there hasn't been situations or people who are in the church who are not bad necessarily, because there are certain situations where it gets a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But in my own experience, I find it crazy that people like to point fingers at me being the Christian person, having the problem with me, but I'm totally accepting of them being like, no, I don't feel that. I would never, like, the one thing I always hear is, I stepped foot in the church, I would immediately be set on flames.
Who do you think you are?
I was like,
are you a magician? Like, okay. Are you a pilot? Are you going to set the church on fire?
You should probably see a doctor.
That's that church hurt. And for those who can't see, I'm doing air quotes because...
Not even church hurt, but people who just don't know. But like that, I hear that so often. They're like, "Yeah, I would go up in flames. I would start smoking and like turning like if I got in the baptismal pool, the water would turn black." Well, first of all, why do you bring yourself to that standard? Because that's demonic and scary. Like that's crazy. Like you shower and the water turns black because this pool water ain't any different than your shower water. It's about what's the process here. Like, you told me you went to the public pool at the YMCA.
Right.
And now the water's black. You should probably go to the emergency room.
Okay.
And I always hear stuff like that. And it's like, that's fine that you feel that way. However, I'm not going to judge you for that, but you're judging me for what I choose to believe in. That's really where this story like hits home, because it has happened with people very close to me. It has happened with people who just like are in passing. Like I went to Goodwill this weekend. We took my aunt to Seabrook. And we went to Walmart because we had to get a few things, and it's just cheaper up there. And we went to Goodwill because she was looking for some shirts. So we went to Goodwill, and she's in the dressing room changing, and she's so excited because she just like doesn't buy clothes. So when she finds things that like she likes and they fit and they look good, she's like, oh. So we're having a girls' moment. My parents are in the car. They want to go home. We're like, we're in there like throwing a party about it. And you know how my aunt is. She's just like, woohoo! And I had this kid come up to me. Now, I was wearing my pancreatic cancer shirt that I got from the walk I just did this past April. And he was like, oh, or like, are you a survivor? And I was like, no. I was like, I know someone very closely who didn't make it, and I walk every year, and this is the shirt I wear, whatever. He's like, my boyfriend has cancer. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, he's been in a lot of situations that he shouldn't have been in. And like, he should have died. And now he has cancer. And I'm like, my first thing out of my mouth was, is somebody watching over him? He goes, well, it's funny you say that. And then he goes on like, and maybe some of you are going to know what I'm talking about. Maybe I had no idea what he was talking about. I wasn't judging. And I feel like sometimes people just need someone to listen. Now, meanwhile, he's saying all this, and he starts telling me about this, like, wolf that is the greater of all things, and that's why the earth is, and he's like, when you really look into it and whatever, and he's telling me about how he came out as gay, and he's not the typical, like, stereotype, like, fashionista gay, and his uncle is, like, he's just, like, subject of, like, everything I wasn't expecting to talk about today. And
like, oh.
meanwhile, he's doing this. And my aunt comes out. She goes, what about this one? Him and I turn and go, yup. And then she goes back in, and then he just goes right back into it. Then that whole conversation ends, and we walk to another part of the store. We're in the book section now because my aunt wanted to go look at some books. Got the shirts. Shirts were great. We got all 4 of them. 4 for 4. And he finds me again. He's like, and I just want to tell you this, too. And he starts, like, keep going, and, like, I'm like, I'm trying to be a Christian, but, like, oh, like, the crazy people always find me.
You're right.
They always find me. And you know what? But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what he's going through at home. Maybe whoever he lives with doesn't let him talk. Maybe he's not able to talk about these things. Whether I believe in it or not, as I'm carrying to, like, picture things. One's John, like, 3:19, and the other one's, like, I got, like, these 2, like, biblical picture frames in my hand. He's like, yeah, but God's not real. And I'm like, no, yeah, you're wolf. Like, whatever. I was just like, haha, yeah, like.
Yeah, but in moments like that.
He didn't say God's not real, but he was talking about this. Like, he was going on the more, I would say, earthly side that people tend to go on. The universe and this wolf with red eyes.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And, like, again, I didn't necessarily agree with what he was saying. But I'm not going to sit here and judge this man who just, like, openly came out to me and, like, is talking about his beliefs. Like, that's what makes him get through each day. At least you're believing in something, pal. Like, you know what I mean? And I just
pray he finds the truth.
I pray he finds the truth. But, like, in that moment, the old me was like, oh, my God. Like, let me get away from this man. Like, he's kind of starting to scare me.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know.
But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like he just needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
So we stood there for like another 5 minutes. And then my aunt is like, was he talking about Jesus? I'm like, not exactly. Like, she's still new to all this. I was like, not exactly. I go, but sometimes you just gotta let people say what they want to say. Yeah. And she's like, okay. She's like, I didn't leave you because, like, I just, like, if he was talking about Jesus, I wouldn't be able to step in and support you. And I was like, I can't. I love her so much. But back to the moral of the story is, I'm not judging people for what they believe or how they feel or whatever. Like, I'm gonna spread the word of God if you want to listen. But if you're not, like, oh, Alexis, my leaf, she just Nebuchadnezzar'd my plan. It's okay.
It actually fell.
Things need to die for things to come alive. It's alright.
We'll just leave him there with his compadres.
And I just think it's crazy that, like, I never said, like, 2 words to this guy about, like, how I felt about what he was saying, but he felt the need to tell me about what I believed in. And I was just like, you know what? You need a friend. Mm-hmm. And today I'm going to be your friend. Amen. Because that's what Jesus would have done.
Okay.
Jesus probably would have clocked it, but... You know. Anyways, moving on in the story. So, this is a new moment where everything starts to change. We're going to look at verses 24 through 27. It says, then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement and asked the advisors, weren't there 3 men that were tied up and thrown into the fire? And they replied, certainly, your majesty. He said, look, I see 4 men walking around in that fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. This is the anchor in our message today. Nebuchadnezzar looks into the flames and expects to see ashes, and instead he sees a walk in the park, and he notices 3 distinct things about them. 1, they are unbound. The fire didn't burn their skin or their clothes, but it did burn the ropes that held them captive.
Okay.
2, they're unharmed. They aren't screaming in agony, and they're walking around. Excuse me. And 3, there is a 4th man. Who is this 4th man? Nebuchadnezzar, from his pagan perspective, calls him a son of the gods. But historically and theologically, Christian scholars recognize this as a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ. I have like the hiccups right now. I have heartburn so bad. Don't get pregnant, y'all. I'm just kidding. Do what you gotta do. It's God's plan. Before Jesus was born in a manger in Bethlehem, he stepped into the fire with these 3 men. And here's the profound truth of this text. God did not deliver them from the fire. He delivered them in the fire. We spend so much of our lives praying that God will keep us out of hardships, trials, and painful seasons. But the testimony of Scripture is that God's presence is almost felt immediately, not when we're insulated from trouble, but when we are walking right through the middle of it. Jesus doesn't just stand outside the furnace shouting words of encouragement. He steps into the heat with you. All right. And I'm going to come to a close up in here. So I forgot to write down also, not only were these men just walking out of this furnace, they were singing words of gospel, singing words of worship. I can't tell you in a hot day and a 9-degree day when the sun's beating down and I've been out there for quite a few hours that I'm singing my happiest tunes. I'm sweating in places I didn't even know I had.
It's funny you say that. We did a prayer walk
God.
a couple weekends ago. It
was hot.
And as I'm going home, I'm sitting and I'm thinking, like, what is God like teaching us in this moment? And I'm thinking to myself, like, in just a small fraction, not like a literal, like the tiniest atom in the world of what the disciples went through, just walking through the desert. So we walked, it was just like an hour, maybe an hour
Weren't you like at the boulevard?
So we started at the boulevard.
Yeah.
And we walked through downtown, down by the Loop,
the
building center, up by the police station, passed by the library, the fire station, and back down.
Okay.
To the boulevard. So nothing crazy.
It's a 5K. I'm just kidding.
Like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
And that's all uphill.
So I got all the little hills. You know me.
Yeah.
We were hitting all the little hills. It took us a little longer because we didn't want to walk. But I was sitting here and I'm thinking, like, they walked for days.
In sand.
For years. In the sand. And when I was talking to your dad, I said, that is what it's truly meant to be covered by Jesus.
Yeah.
Because their sandals never wore out.
Mm-hmm.
Their clothes never was tethered.
Quality.
Like, right.
Yeah.
They had, like, North Face. Like, it was good. No, what is that one?
They call, what are my sandals?
Your Birkenstocks?
My Birkenstocks.
There's another brand I feel like rich people wear, and it's like that outdoorsy.
Anything in Colombia or Patagonia?
Patagonia. Yes, it was in that Patagonia good stuff. But to literally be covered.
Yeah.
In the sacrifice, how hot it was, the heat. Like you're not gonna tell me it wasn't uncomfortable. And they did it willingly. Jesus just walked by them. They were just normal people. They weren't like heavenly sent angels to walk and to guide and to protect Jesus. No. They were just random people off the street that he would walk by and say, follow me. Yeah. And they would drop everything. Yeah. And so it's like,
I was going to say, like, well, I have 2 things to, like, rebuttal off of that, because I told you I was going to do the story about John and Peter. And, like, I forget the word, but the Hebrew word that's used, like, idioism or something like that. And basically it means, like, what our today word, idiots. Right. And they were just 2 men out here.
Peter, and I use this all the time, sliced off a man's ear. And then lied and said, no, that wasn't. The dude's like, I watched you. I felt you cut my ear off. And then I watched Jesus, the guy you said you aren't with. Yeah. Put it back on and heal me. Yeah. But like, and these were the guys that Jesus picked.
Yeah.
Matthew was a tax collector.
Yeah. Who people couldn't
That's
stand.
like ICE today. Imagine Jesus picking a guy off of ICE and being like, I want you to walk with me.
Yeah.
And we're all like, excuse me, sir. Did you not just see him snatch the money from that little lady? Did you not see her take
throw her
purse?
in jail because she didn't pay her back?
Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
But what you were also saying, it's funny to say you had that little inkling of like, this is what they went through.
So that furnace was hot.
You've seen the steps. So in my little apartment, there is steps that go down to the what's now a furnished basement, which is our bedroom.
Oh yeah. Mm.
And when I say
you might as well just jump. You're better off just jumping.
When I say it's like legit steps that were put in just so you could get down there, like
barely.
It's like you gotta counteract your weight to like.
They're like literally like they're just straight down. It's like a ladder. So
now, women, if you're listening, you can imagine all the pains and gripes and things of being pregnant. And I practically lived here my entire pregnancy thus far. And in the middle of the night, every night, I'd be going up and down them steps, going to the bathroom, and I'm in pain, and everything's stretching and moving, and my back hurts, and I want to go to sleep, and I can't sleep, and it's like up and down these rickety stairs that are like enough wood to get me up and down them. And I had this realization in the night. I was like, and to think that Mary rode a donkey.
Okay.
And now the credit I used to give this woman before knowing what it was like to be pregnant. Rode a donkey in that heat. And then proceeded to then give birth next to the smelly, stinky, hay-filled yuckadoodle named like. And I was like, women used to give birth in like tents.
And mind you, she was like 15.
And I'm like, here I am complaining about a few wooden steps. I got a shower, I get a bathroom, I get a bed to go lay back down in that has pillows and blankets. And here I am complaining, well, Mary's over here laying on a piece of stone with 3 pieces of hay next to the camel that's farting next to her.
I'm dead.
I'm like, oh my, like, it's amazing how far women alone have come in this process, and it makes sense why so many people used to die back then, because what were we doing, you know? But yeah, no, I had that realization the other day, and I was like, I was saying to my therapist that out of all that's happened to me this pregnancy, between the move, between being in and out of the hospital, my grandmother dying, my car blowing up, like everything that's literally happened in the last 6 months, it's so hard to not be grateful, because my body is quite literally doing something I never imagined it would ever be able to do. And then it's so hard to not feel grateful for moments like that. I'm like, I have a place where I can lay, where I am not feeling good and in pain. There is a bed with a blanket and a pillow. Like, how can you not be grateful during this process? Like, when they say God will provide. Mm. And I know back in December when we talked about the story of Jesus being born, you had brought up the fact that Jesus chose to come as a baby into this world. He could have came in anything else. So, like, back to what the scholars are saying about this story is, like, Jesus chose to come as a baby into the human flesh, but he's always been right there. He been here, been showing his appearance to the people who can see it before he was of human descent. And that's what this story represents too, is like, this is a preface of Jesus Christ. Like, I think I told you there was a little bit of like a conspiracy theory. I don't know what you'd really call it, but when the lamb got stuck in the bush of thorns, it was representing Jesus, the Lamb of God, who had a crown, like, I mean, not a crown, a literal like nails drilled into his head. Like, yeah, it was, yeah. For sure. Like, absolutely. It's just so crazy. But I'm gonna wrap up real quick because we're running out of time. 6:39. Well, we do the whole outro, and then we do our little chit chat at the end. You know, I want to leave room for stories. The story. So wrapping it up here, and how the story ends in verses 26 through 29. Nebuchadnezzar calls them out of the furnace. The everybody's around them. Everybody who just like witnessed this is just standing around them, going like, "What did I just witness? Like what is happening?" And the Bible says that they saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair on their head singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire or smoke on them. Think about that. If you go to a backyard bonfire for 20 minutes, your jacket smells like smoke for like 7 days after that. And these guys were inside the furnace, heated 7 times harder than normal, pushed to its absolute extent of what it can. And they didn't even have the aroma of hardship on them. God completely redeemed them in their trial. Nebuchadnezzar responds by praising the God of Israel, saying, Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. No other God can save in this way. So your willingness to go into the fire rather than bow down to the world is what changes the hearts of people around you. When the people watching your life see you go through a 7 times harder trial, a medical diagnosis, a deep loss, a betrayal, and they see you walking around unbound with peace that surpasses understanding because someone else is walking with you, it forces them to acknowledge that your God is real. So as we close today, I want to leave you with this question. You can answer it in the comments. Alexis, you feel free to answer if you want to out loud. What is the furnace in your life right now? And are you trying to escape it? Or are you looking around for the fourth man who's already standing there with you? Yeah, this like I said, this is a story I like kind of heard about, like who's the fourth man, whatever, but I never really like dove into it. And this story just really like took my breath away because I was also listening to our boy Pastor Craig Groeschel, who runs Life Church, and if you haven't heard of him, you may use his app called the Bible app that everyone has on their phones, basically. Amen. They created that. And I was listening to a sermon about what it's like to stay quiet. And this is why I was going to talk about Peter and John. It's like, why you can't stay quiet when it comes to Christ. Like, you need to be loud about your God. You need to be loud about your faith. And like, I remember when I was like that. I remember when I was like, oh, I'm so scared to talk about Jesus because like I don't know anything about the Bible and I'm scared they're going to ask me questions that I can't answer. That's terrifying. I don't want to be put in that position. Now I got a whole new person coming to church with me on Sunday. Like, you know, like we're talking about my dad last week nagging us to come to church and just being loud about it and obnoxious about it. And it's like, maybe it pushed us in the direction we didn't want to go in the sense we're like, all right, we'll go if you shut up, you know? But look at us now. Like, had he not been that loud about his faith? And this story really encourages me to be, one, stand my ground about what I believe in, regardless of what trials, storms, or valley. Like, God doesn't meet you on the mountain, he meets you in the valley.
Amen.
He doesn't meet you when the storm's over and the rainbow comes out. He meets you in the middle of the storm with a boat that's rocking and he's trying to take a nap. Okay. Like, this story just really has opened my eyes to be louder about my faith and realize that the quieter I am about my faith, I'm not really serving God's purpose that he has set out for me. And Craig was like, he had said something along the lines of like, would the people at your job know that you're a Christian, or would they stand next to you and say, oh my God, I've worked with you for the last 3 years and I had no idea?
Oh, they know.
I'm like, my job damn well knows that I'm a Christian. I was like, I'd be talking about God all the time. I'd be playing music. We'd be talking about church. I have this coworker who's on, like, in his church, he's on like a baseball, softball team, and he plays against other churches. We just be talking. I was talking about my theory about how I think the forbidden fruit from Genesis is a pot plant. Like, we can't get into that this week. Maybe that's my next topic Tuesday. Yeah. When I make my points, it will open your eyes.
Oh, my eyes is open. Oh, they open.
But yeah, that's my topic this week. Nothing crazy, but just a story that's really eye-opening and something that, like Alexis said earlier, like something that we still fight and deal with in today's world, in today's society.
Amen to that.
And my furnace is getting through this pregnancy right now. As grateful as I am, my body's doing things I never even thought it knew how to do.
Amen to that.
And I preach to all women out there who have done this and people who decide to do this again.
Right, there are people who are just willingly signing up.
Like, and back in Jesus' time, they were popping out like 14 of them. Like, girl, please.
Pastor Ann said she was praying for wombs on prayer night on Thursday, and I said, "Ma'am, I'm just gonna ask that you politely skip over mine." That's just it's a request. Like, I mean, whatever he does, he does.
You said you'd be taking prayer requests. Here's mine.
Yes, and then Pastor walked by and he was kind of chuckling. He said, "You know, you gotta be precise. You gotta pray out loud." I said, "I'm gonna need you to say names on the wombs you're praying for." Because she's like, "No." She said, "I'm praying for my family's wombs. I want grandkids." I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "She wants grandkids."
But we're all brothers and sisters.
Lord have mercy. I forgot about all that.
Lord, have you seen what happened to Alex?
I messaged him and I said, "Sir, we need to find you a rib so that we know you're safe." Because
talk about fourth man in the fire.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, no, he was in the fire, and God did not deliver. He is the fire,
and not the fire Jesus sent. Jesus said that wasn't for, sir. He said, "There's a fire. Get the extinguisher. Get the fire extinguisher." He done did it again. Yeah, no.
That's so funny.
We all have a furnace. And,
and you don't have to be in a furnace to test your faith either.
No, but, you know, if we're being real and we're being raw and honest, that's when your faith is tested.
Oh,
because everybody
for sure.
can follow Jesus when things are going their way. I was
on
our vacation to Hershey Park. I couldn't find Quentin. And we went to the Lazy River. Now, the Lazy River was big. So it took a minute to go around.
And a bunch of people, yeah.
And so I was waiting to see him, but like as time was going by, and you'll learn as you become a parent, 1 minute of not knowing where your kid is like 100%. Like I was like 95% sure he was still in the pool, and I just needed to wait for him to come by. But as time was going by, I'm like,
Lazy River do be slow.
Right. And now I'm seeing kids that look like him but aren't him, and I'm thinking, did this person already pass by? So now I'm like kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
So I says, you know what? I said, God, I says, I'm putting my trust that my baby is still in this little pool thing. I says, I'm just asking that you just bring him to me. I says, my mom flesh is flushing and I'm nervous.
All your sirens
I
are
don't
going
know
off.
where he is. And I'm not joking. Within 5 seconds, here comes Quentin around the corner, and girl, when I tell you my whole heart, because I'm just
you feel like that blood get warm feeling. You're
I'm
just
like, Lord, I'm so glad I subscribed to same day service.
Yeah. You're like, I got that Jesus Prime.
I was nervous that I didn't know where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Not that God wasn't going to bring him and deliver him safely, but I just didn't know, like, did he get out? Should I get out? Should I?
Because now if you leave,
okay, I would have missed him.
Right.
I would have missed him.
Right.
So it's just those little things that we go through. Driving at night, I drove straight 24 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
From Pennsylvania to Gloucester, 6 hours and 15 minutes.
Round trip? Or
no,
both
one
ways.
way.
Yeah.
Coming back, yeah. It was longer driving too. We hit a lot of traffic, so it took us.
You drove back in the night, so
10 hours. Yeah. So driving back, I just prayed. First of all, my car needs new tires and alignment, but he said it was safe to drive as long as we weren't driving crazy, which we didn't. But I was nervous at first, and I just had to pray, and I had to say, God, just deliver us, please. I'm putting my faith that whatever happens we're gonna get home. Might not look like how I want it to look, but when I say like I was so tired, almost like I understand how people get into car accidents.
Yeah.
Tired. Like I had to be like, I was doing
You have to
crazy
start talking.
shit.
Yeah,
I was
you're gonna
like,
start talking to yourself.
I was doing this. A whole, yeah. And my sister was up, and she was such a trooper. She stayed up with me the whole time. So
Really?
yeah. But
not me. The car. 5 minutes in the car. I'm like,
oh no, I can't drive with you because then we're gonna die.
Well, that's why I drive.
Yes, right. But I'm no better because I might fall asleep too.
Yeah.
But you just really have to be 100%.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not have 1% of doubt when they walked into that furnace. And that's the hard part about being a Christian.
They were even prepared for if they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to Paul and Silas, Acts 16 through 40. Same thing. They were in jail for spreading the word of God.
There's a lot of
and
people
here
who went to
they
jail
are
for that.
singing and praising God, and all of a sudden here comes an earthquake that unlocks all the doors and breaks the chains that are on them.
Yeah.
God gets ready to kill himself because he's like, oh my gosh. Like all the prisoners that I just tortured and have been torturing for years, they're gone. And before he kills himself,
the
Paul
guard,
says,
it sounded like you said God, sorry.
Guard,
yes.
Yeah. Paul says, we're all here.
We didn't leave.
We did right. Like, don't kill you. Like, we're here still.
Yeah.
And in that moment, him and his whole household, this guard and his whole household, they were saved. He said, how do I give my life to Christ?
That's what I'm saying. You can't be quiet about your faith because you have no idea what your faith is doing for other people.
I've been handing out cards at work, and people are saying the same thing. Oh, the church would burn down. God hates me. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
You can literally go kill somebody right now, and he still won't hate you.
You just need to change your ways. Right. You need to change your ways and be better.
Yeah.
Well, God doesn't hate anybody. I said, and that's why I handed out cards. And I said, and let me tell you something. If I see one of these cards in the trash, I'm going to be very upset because you don't have to take it. But I ask you maybe give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Or give it back to me.
Put it in that little compartment of your car that you're never going to really look at again.
Because one day you might need it.
Yeah.
And I see them still at work. Somebody put one on the wall. Like, if you're kind and you're not aggressive, there's some people who, aggression works for your dad. Hey, okay. Sometimes it doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
And so, like Maria's saying, I just pray that you speak up for what you believe in. I pray it's God.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's not. You're not out there spreading hate.
Yeah.
That's what we believe in. So when we say believe in, we're hoping that it's Christ.
Right.
That it's your spreading. We're not here promoting hate or any judgment or anything like that. But this generation, we must be loud.
Yeah.
We must let our friends know. We might be the only source to the Bible a friend of ours might have.
Like, I'm just not being quiet about it. Like, I want to give a shout out because for the last couple episodes, I don't know who you are. You could be a family member or not. There is one person who watches every week, and I can see it because I can see the one eye.
Yes.
This podcast might not reach 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 people. We may never see that number a day in our lives, but this one person, or that one person that accidentally clicks on our video and didn't mean to, or their video ended and it jumped to our podcast, like, it don't matter about the numbers. It matters if you, for the one.
Okay.
For the one.
Yes. Jesus will leave the 99
for the one.
Yeah, get the rock going. I call it the
pins are all going out. Yeah.
The Christ rock.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes.
We love doing this. We love sharing I love. Sorry, I will preface this with in the next month or so, we have a little upgrade surprise for this channel for when we hit 1 year. But
when is our 1 year?
I have to look at when our first thing went. I think it's August 18th.
Okay, me too.
Because I remember you saying that.
Right.
Like, let's start on the 18th.
Yeah. No, okay, I thought so because I'm like,
I'll have to check.
A cake or something.
I'm dead.
Will the baby ketchup be here yet?
No, he's not coming until October.
I couldn't remember. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'd be panicking if he was coming.
Yeah, no, we don't want you that early to catch up. I was just curious. Don't get no crazy ideas.
But thank you guys so much for listening to Her Table Podcast. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend and remind them that joy is already around us. You don't have to go far looking for it, and it's right there in the life that God is giving you. Like I said, we love doing this. We love. Excuse me. We love you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
We hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yes, God bless.
Go follow us on social media to listen to what we talk about. And Alexis has a lot of chat on her Snapchat, and I do a lot of the promo on my Instagram, so you can always find out when we're going live. We go live every Tuesday at 6:00 Eastern Standard Time. If you have a question that you're carrying, you can submit it to Dear Grace by emailing hertablepodcast@gmail.com. Maybe that's going to be the other upgrade we have, is the text message. I just still got to figure. There's a lot going on in life. I'm in the furnace. Hold on, okay?
She's not in the furnace. She better get it together.
But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Ka-chow, kablam, goodbye.
Ka-chow!